Hello, my name's Rob Widdows, and some of you may know me as one of the co-founders of the Festival of Speed and the Revival at Goodwood. On March the 7th, I'm saying goodbye to nearly 50 years of motor racing memorabilia. It's very fashionable for people to declutter these days, but this is absolutely not decluttering. This is me saying goodbye to nearly half a century of going motor racing. And that explains why I've collected so many things over the decades. And I'm kind of sad to see it all go, but I really hope it goes to a good home and to people who love racing as much as I do. What's interesting to me when I look at all the things I've collected is how incredibly the sport has changed. I mean, everybody knows, of course, that there have been huge changes, but some of the things that are in the auction are incredible reminders of first of all, how simple the cars were in those days compared to now, and how approachable people were. My autograph book, for instance, which I started in probably the early 60s, has the autographs of Graham Hill, Bruce McLaren, Jimmy Clark, Roy Salvadori, Dan Gurney, Marston Gregory, because in those days it was so easy to say hello to the driver and can I have your autograph. Now it's almost virtually impossible to do that. There are a lot of racing car models in the collection, and one I particularly like is the six-wheel Tyrrell, which Ken Tyrrell gave me when he came down to my radio show in Portsmouth, which he did quite often. So it's a nice memory for me, and a model of what of course was an incredibly interesting car. It was way too quick, which meant of course that it was banned in the end. But I had a very nice letter from Ken saying how much he enjoyed doing the radio show, and I do rather treasure that car. Not surprisingly, there are hundreds and hundreds of Grand Prix programs in the collection, as well as endurance racing, and some from New Zealand, where I lived for 3 months covering motor racing in New Zealand. The programs are collectible just because they're incredibly good fun to look back on and remember all those cars and drivers that were racing at the time. Perhaps the biggest element really of this collection is the books. I think it's 300 motorsport books, ranging from autocourse to automobile year to signed copies of drivers' autobiographies. You name it, I've probably got a book about it. This is 50 years with the Speed Kings, which has been out of print for years, but it's a really nice book. And A Different Kind of Life by Virginia Williams is also out of print now. This is a truly fantastic book. This is Sir Frank Williams' wife's story, following the accident that Frank had in the south of France when he was driving to the airport. It's a truly, truly gripping book. And just one more. This is Drivers in Action, Louis Clementaski, and it's signed by Clementaski, one of the great motor racing photographers. I thought I'd just show you three little things and talk briefly about them. This is a Nigel Mansell coin. And for some reason, the government of the Channel Islands decided to do a Nigel Mansell coin, Nigel Mansell money. And this was the period where he was in IndyCar racing, having won, of course, the Formula One World Championship. I don't think there are many left now, but it's a kind of wacky little thing. And like all motor racing fans, I have lots and lots of stickers, and they'll be in the collection as well. This one's Niki Lauda, when he first started Lauda Air, having left the Brabham team. If you remember, he just walked away from Formula One and started an airline, like you do. And the Indianapolis plate comes from 1993, when Lord March, as he was then, and I went to Indianapolis to see how they do things, how they combine modern motor racing with heritage. And I thought, I have to come home with an Indy plate. So this is what happens when you're mad about motor racing for nearly 50 years. You end up being completely surrounded by all your memories that you've picked up along the way in your travels all around the world, to the circuits, to the drivers' homes, to the teams, to the factories. Maybe some of you will want to add to your own collections. Maybe you'll want to start a collection. This would be a good start, I can tell you. Anyway, I look forward to seeing some of you there.